Welcome back
Go
to
breaking my eggs.
Woo! Episode 3.
And this time we're actually going to do some cooking.
Yep, we've got
crispy cornflake chicken tenders.
Yes. So a little health flair. Get away from the breadcrumbs. Let's try something new, and it's going to be fun. So Jack, let me read you the ingredients.
All right.
So this calls for 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and you're going to cut it into strips. You can get these at the grocery store already pre-cut, or you can take an actual breast and cut it up yourself. We're going to need a half a cup of buttermilk, 3/4 tablespoons of paprika, half a tablespoon of kosher salt, half a tablespoon of ground pepper, half a tablespoon of parsley flakes, 4.5 cups of corn flakes, half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And that's
our onion or oven.
Oven, yep. That's okay. Onion, oven. We know. Hey,
I'm thinking of onion powder, people.
We go with the flow here on the cooking show. So our oven was preheated to 400 degrees to get things going, so we don't, bore you with our conversations.
Exactly.
But so let's talk about what we have done so far, because this recipe does call for some marinating.
So what we've done is we've put in a bag, we've put a half cup of buttermilk, we put the paprika, we put salt, and we put pepper. And each of those are 1/4 teaspoon.
Yes.
So that's been marinating for almost 3 hours now.
Ooh. And, my take on marinating is a little bit more.
The better.
Exactly. So our chicken has been marinating in the fridge with the ingredients that Jack has said. We will be sending the directions out as well. So don't worry if you didn't catch all of this. Also mindful, we are using uncooked chicken, so hand hygiene is very important. You want to make sure that you are mindful of where the chicken is touching and where your hands are touching after you've touched the chicken. Okay, so we've marinated the chicken. It's ready to be breaded or cornflaked. So
before we do that, we have to crush up the cornflakes.
Yes, let's set up our mix. Okay, so Jack, this recipe calls for 4.5 cups of cornflakes.
Oh boy.
And so sorry, we also have some materials here. We have some measuring spoons and we have some measuring cups. So here is the full cup. So 1, 2, 3.
Here, let's do it this way. This is getting annoying.
Hey, that's what we like. If things are getting annoying, we do something about it. Ooh.
A little bit more than
4 and a little bit of a 1/4. So let's
do a 1/4 cup.
There we go. Yep. Bam. Oh, a little more. There we go. Okay. So now we're gonna take the air out.
Fun.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. This is where it gets fun here, you guys. So you're gonna close up the bag, and make sure that there's no air in it. And Jack, I will let you do the honors. We're going to break up. You're going to hit that bag, and you're going to break up those cornflakes so they're in nice little pieces.
And this is also a good way to relieve stress. So
yes.
if you ever want to work on cooking and relieve stress at the same time, this is perfect.
Oh, come on, Jack, get in there. Show those cornflakes. Nice. Oh, the double action. I like it. Give those cornflakes a good back rub. Jack, I really like how you're using all these different techniques. So if you really like just, one-handed, get in there, two hands, or if you like to just kind of like the bubble pack action and just kind of go in there and pinch and squeeze it out. While you're waiting, you can also do a little chicken finger dance.
Well, that reminds me, we have a new setup, so if we wanted to play music right now, and send it through there.
We could. Maybe we should leave that and tempt people to come back for next week's episode. And if you guys have any particular genre or artist that you would like to hear on our cooking show, let us know.
Because we will also have live music soon.
Yes. We are in the works. We are talking to people about guest visits and live music. One of the other things that we need to do once you've broken up the cornflakes is to have either a shallow bowl or a plate. We're going to use this size for right now, but you can use a larger one. So we're just going to be mindful of how much we're pouring out of the bag. But we're also going to add some spices.
Yep, we're getting some holes.
Oh, okay. We're going to be adding some spices, and I'm going to read those out so that Jack will add them in to add some extra flavor. Here, let me have at 'em. And you want to just get in there. We'll show you how finely. Doesn't have to be perfect. And there's going to be some bigger, smaller, whole variety of sizes. But we'll try to see if we can show you. See, it's not, there's some big, some small. We'll see how it goes. So, Jack, I'm going to give you, you can use the measuring spoons. We are going to use a half a teaspoon of paprika. And Jack is going to add that in here.
Did you almost just call me Zach?
I almost did, but I tried to catch
myself. We're gonna
myself.
have a talk later, Katie.
I know. Bam. Okay, and then next will be 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Oh, okay. And this is where we're just gonna eye it because we don't have a salt that you can just take out. So we're gonna twist, it's a twist thing. So we'll just do a couple twists here and kind of eye the salt. Yeah, a little bit more there, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we are going to do.
We'll make sure that we're putting it in the right way.
Yeah, we'll mix it up. It's always good to double check your recipes. I can definitely say for myself, I've gone through recipes and messed up the order, and sometimes it really can make a difference.
Okay. We don't need parsley.
Nope.
We're not going to use sugar in this, even though it calls for sugar.
Yes, it does call for sugar. Unfortunately, we don't have any sugar, but
it's also a little bit healthier without the sugar.
Exactly. But we are going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Ooh, and a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And you want, oh yeah, you know the trick. There you go. Don't worry about it.
3-second rule.
There we go. And then that was the garlic powder.
Mm-hmm.
So then a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. And that's when we close it back up. Don't worry so much about the air. And that's when you shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake. So it's all mixed in there. Okay. So this recipe does call for handling chicken. Sometimes you can get around that using a fork. I know, Jack, you don't like touching it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on it.
That's okay. I was a little iffy too at first. So I will do that part. Why don't you, so now what we're going to do is pour some of these cornflakes out onto the plate, because then we're going to take the chicken strips and coat them on the cornflakes. Mm-hmm. We're also going to take our pan and we're going to, with some foil, and we're going to spray some cooking spray. Doesn't need to be that much, but just want to coat it. So that's ready for our chicken strips. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
And remember to preheat your oven to 400, so when you put the chicken in, it'll be set at 400 already. We've set that up.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tablespoon for this.
Okay. I know one of the feedback from one of our shows, or our first one, was that we should have something in front of us so we're not turning our backs to you guys. And I 110% agree. However,
we tried that today. The table we tried to fit through here was a little too big.
Yes. So next week, we will figure it out. Until then, we will do our best to explain what we're doing in the moment, so that if we do turn our backs, we'll be able to let you know what's going on. Okay. So how about you hold it, so then actually you can hold the plate and I'll put the chicken strip on the plate so we can show our viewers.
All right.
Okay, so don't be afraid to get in there, but just know that this is going to be my chicken finger hand. So if I want to touch anything else, I have to wash my hands. So hold it with 2 hands, just in case. And you just, let's plop it in there and you just move it around and get the cornflakes on there. If you make cornflakes, or sorry, chicken tenders in other ways, one of the things that's interesting, and I was intrigued of this recipe, was that usually you put the chicken in eggs and flour, and then it sticks to the breadcrumbs. So it's kind of covering, kind of not, but it's going to be yummy nonetheless. Oops. We'll just let my phone ring. Give us a little music for us to do this too. And you're just going to continue to just coat the chicken and the plate with the cornflakes. And it's okay that you're putting multiple chicken slices on here because it's all going to the same place.
And warning, you will be able to smell the paprika.
Yes, I got a paprika. I got smoked paprika from Trader Joe's. I like paprika, and I like the smell of a good smoked spice. So that's, you also want to be, there's some spices that you really have to be careful with because they're very overpowering.
Yes.
Paprika is definitely one of those. You got to respect it, because if you don't, it will really break your meal. I've definitely over seasoned with paprika and it was really quite disappointing. Why don't you put some more on there? We got a few more strips. And so this should be enough, you know, maybe if you're hungry, just for one. But it should be enough for about 2 people. The recipe that I'll be sending out does also have calls for honey mustard dipping sauce, but you can leave that up to yourself in terms of what you would like.
I just have to take this really quick.
Okay.
My doctor.
Yes. Okay, so I will take it from here and continue to just coat my chicken. You know, when I've touched chicken, I just try not to think about where it comes from. So I don't think about those nice little chickens. But we appreciate them because they give us good food. And we are going to just move the little wormy chicken strips from one area to the next. Your hands will get kind of goopy, but that's okay. On the cooking show, we don't mind getting a little dirty, but we like to make sure everything is clean and good to go. Okay, 2 more to go, and I'm gonna plop them down so I can put this bag down. And you just roll them around. You're not necessarily going to use all of the crumbs. So don't worry if you have any left over, but just know that the stuff that has touched uncooked chicken cannot be reused again. You'll have to throw that out. Just put it on there. Okay. So, as you know, my hands are filled with chicken, and I want to pick up this plate, but I can't because I need to wash my hands first. So that's what I'm gonna do. Gonna lather them up. Get in between my fingers. Get around my fingers. Get my wrists and my hands. And then wash it off. Okay. And so we're going to put the chicken tenders in the oven. And we're going to cook them for 12 to 14 minutes. But we'll keep an eye on things. We're going to set the timer. We'll set it for 13 minutes. And then we wait. One of the things that my co-host and I had talked about, or we've kind of mentioned along the way, is that the show is evolving. We will hopefully have music, both live-ish via Zoom, as well as we can play some sound into the computer for us to listen to. I do like, I think that music can be really motivating and kind of invigorating when you're cooking, especially if you're hungry and you just want that food to cook. And then also the other thing is guests. So we're always looking for guests for ideas, but we will start having guests on the show starting in July, towards the middle. And we have a really great list of items that we're going to make and share with you guys. Other things that we were thinking of talking about was wearing masks and kind of all this talk in terms of things are reopening and what, this new normal. And I think that, as annoying as they can be, maybe even my voice is a little muffled because of the mask, but something that's necessary and that we should always be mindful of when we're going out in public. And if we're going to be around people in close quarters, we want to make sure to always have masks on. And know that that's an important part of being able to continue to be able to go out in the community and to be able to kind of get into this new normal. And it's not easy, but something that can be really make a difference. And something that I think about when wearing masks is to have fun with it. Try to come up with different patterns. I don't know if you can tell today, but it's dark blue or black with white polka dots, and to have fun with it. There's lots of different masks out there. We can make different patterns. You can coordinate it with your outfit. You can make statements with it. Let's have some fun with it. This is something that's going to be around for a while. Let's make fun with it. One thing I do like to do when there is downtime is to clean. So I'm just going to chat along and I'm going to clean and make sure that the surfaces that have touched the chicken. So if you've watched my bag of chicken right here, it has traveled a little bit, but keeping an eye on where these items have gone, we will make sure that the space is cleaned and safe for everybody, because uncooked chicken can make you kind of sick, and we don't want that.
Peekaboo.
Yay, you're back! And talking about masks, sometimes we forget. Mm-hmm. But we tell our friends, hey.
It's better to wear a mask than to get anything that can hurt you or damage your body.
Right. And it's, as we're kind of newly learning this, sending friendly reminders like, hey,
wear your mask.
Wear your mask. And let's have fun with masks together.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was talking a little bit about masks, also talking a little bit about cleaning up, and keeping track of where my bag of uncooked chicken germs is, so that I know to do that. We have the chicken in here. It's cooking. So I'll put that there. And spices. Oh, I'm Miss Popular today. But that's okay. I'll just put that there. I'll call back later. Who knows? Maybe it could have been somebody that was calling in. We haven't tried that. But maybe that could be a fun thing. You call us when we're doing the recording, and we answer calls.
All right. That would be actually a pretty fun thing to do.
Wouldn't it? Okay. So what else, Jack? What should we talk about today? Talk a little bit about masks and wearing masks. We want to make sure that we're 6 feet away from people at times, but definitely always wearing masks. I know that we're not necessarily 6 feet, but we are making sure that we're not too close.
Right. Shall we talk about the guests that we're having on soon?
I talked a little bit about that, but maybe we should leave that as a little bit of a surprise in terms of who it's going to be. But I promise you, it will be a familiar face with Riverside.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this person.
I'm pretty sure too. And you know what this person said to me? They were actually very excited about being on this show. For those that are hanging from home and or working from home, sometimes the impetus to get dressed up is just not there anymore. And she's really excited because now she finally has a reason to get all dressed up. And I said, go for it. Get dressed up, do your makeup, all of it, whole 9 yards. We can have some fun with this. And
but you'll have to wait a little bit for this, since this will be at the end of July.
Yes. But we promise to keep you guys entertained in the meantime.
We promise not to be boring.
Yes, definitely. Definitely try. What else is new? We're finally getting some much needed water. I heard the other day that Massachusetts was in a drought, but then
we pretty much flooded.
Right, exactly. We've flooded and we're getting lots of rain, so that is good. Things are going well.
We have 6 minutes on the timer, people, until that nice chicken fingers come out.
That's right. What are some questions that we would like to ask our guests as we think about this? If our viewers have any questions, let us know. Put it in the feedback section. But what do we want to know about these people?
How about what's your favorite dish to cook at home?
Okay. One of the things, with working from home, your commute has definitely cut down. And so you might have a little bit more time. I know that I've gotten a little bit more back into cooking because I've had a little bit more time. I wonder if there's been any, what changes have you made with your cooking since the quarantine?
Right.
For better or for worse. But I think that's important. That's a good question. What else? I think if there's any ideas if there's any screenwriters or playwrights And
we could use a script.
As you can tell, we could use a script. Yeah.
You can tell by the awkward silence.
That's okay. You know what? Sometimes silence can be very awkward.
Silence can be awkward, but it can also be golden.
It can. Sometimes it can really tell you a lot about somebody. Sometimes it can really help you kind of wrap your head around things. So sometimes we just got to invite that awkward silence in and just kind of let it sit there. We could even do that right now. We have 4 minutes and counting. We could be silent for the entire 4 minutes. We could just stare into the camera.
We will stare into your souls.
We can just, be awkward and own it. But we won't do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure something will come to our minds. Do you have any fun summer plans or goals?
Goals is to go home at least once to see my new puppy.
Yeah. I know, it's really been, it's hard. I think that I've seen a lot online in terms of how people are modifying their family visits. I know that can be really hard. It is really hard nowadays to be able to stay connected, especially when there's new puppies and animals or babies. I know my friends, or I know my brother has a baby that I haven't been able to see. My friend just had a baby that I'd love to see, but we can't. But that's a good goal to have, and to think about, okay, what can I do at least to kind of stay present with that? And if I can't do it right now, but to help make sure that I'm working towards that. Plugging the mask again, wearing a mask is definitely part of that process.
It is.
Staying healthy. Washing hands. And watching your food cook. Showering, yeah. Showering all day, every day. Maybe not all day.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit of a... You'll probably get a little pruny. Your water bill will go up. And if you live with other people, they might get upset because I'm sure they're going to want to get into the bathroom. Yeah.
It's like, hold on, I'm still taking a shower. 3 hours later, I'm still taking a shower. You just come out of the bathroom all pruny.
I know, yep. There's just a giant prune. I remember that, though, when I was younger and going swimming all day. And I don't know if any of you guys tested the eating and then swimming right after and not waiting the 45 minutes.
I did. I always got a cramp.
I know. I did it once, and I'm like, nope, never again. Swimming was not fun. I felt like I was going to sink to the bottom.
I thought it was like a coincidence, like for the first and second time, so I tried it 3 times. I was like, nope, not just a coincidence.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta try it multiple times. Yeah. So note to self, wear a mask, and definitely wait the 45 minutes after you've eaten before going swimming again. Yeah, I hear that.
Unless it's a jacuzzi, then you can just sit there and relax.
You could. I'm not a big fan of jacuzzis. The water's too hot.
I just go in for the bubbling.
The bubbling is nice. That is a plus. But it's too hard for me to like get in there when it's really hot. Although
it's like a steam bath.
Yes. I do like a heated pool in the wintertime, and like being able to go swimming outside and in a heated pool is really awesome. And then getting out and it's like super cold.
20 seconds, people.
Okay. So in the midst, or kind of knowing about chicken and knowing that we want to handle it carefully, as important as it is to be mindful of where you're placing the chicken, it's also equally as important to make sure it is cooked.
Yes.
And I'd have to say I have been known to serve uncooked chicken by mistake. So let's check it out. Let's see how it's going.
You cooked one of the oven mitts again.
Oh, I did? Oops. There was some
Feel
other...
that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I guess we'll have a side of omelet with our chicken fingers.
Luckily, it's not burned. It's okay. But be mindful then of what's around your oven door, so that you are careful about that. Okay. So as you may or may not have seen, you know, when we're cooking meat, it's going to be one color to begin with, and then as it cooks, it's going to likely change to a different color. Mm-hmm. So our chicken has gone from pink to white on the outside, and we're going to check the middle. Yeah, so it's nice and brown, and I have a feeling, just from my experience, that we might need to put our chicken in for longer, but we're going to check, and we'll check by using a knife and fork. And we're just
if we have one.
Oh, that would actually, so our luck. Okay. Oh, we got it? Okay, perfect. So you want to look for kind of the meatiest section of the chicken finger, and I can tell by the way you're cooking it. I need it right now. Okay, so we want to make sure that there's no pink in the middle, and Jack.
There is pink in the middle.
So then we know we need to put it back in, and I will be right back.
So Katie had to step away for a minute because unfortunately she is the only med person in the house. So somebody had to step aside with her. But at this time, we're going to put it in for, I'm going to say, 3 more minutes, just to make sure it's perfectly baked. And to get all of that pink everything and out of there, we have to make sure everything cooks. So we have to make sure it cooks on the sides. We have to make sure they're evenly distributed so that the heat goes through them all together. I don't know if Katie said that already, but I'm going to say it now. So what I usually do when I'm waiting for my food, I'll go over and play a video game or something like that, or I'll sit here and listen to a little bit of music. For those of you who, as we said before, send in your favorite genre of music, and we will be having live music coming in soon. So maybe we can have our live musician play some of the music for you. And I think that would be a pretty cool thing. And I apologize for the awkward silence. I'm not used to doing this on my own. Oh dear. And I know for Riverside, a lot of people will be watching this. And then for YouTube, I don't know how many people will be watching this, just people outside of Riverside. I apologize, my stomach was showing there. But share this with your friends, see how they like it, and if they have any suggestions, send it in, like we said. The email will be ksharby, SHARBY, at riversidecc.org. And that will be down in the description below as well. Let's check our bake time here, 30 seconds. As we were saying before, make sure you try not to cook your oven mitts. I've done that too many times, so I can't blame Katie. So now, as you can see, all the pink is gone. So this is ready to cool off. And after a while, we will serve it.
That we just made?
Mm-hmm.
That's chicken what?
Chicken fingers.
Did you get a package of meat and cut it up?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's good, Jack.
So, at this point, I'm going to sign off. We hope you like this show. The recipe will be sent out as well. And for those of you who know us well, keep those eggs not broken. Keep them together.